Okay, welcome to Stitch Crazy. My name is Beody and I will be your host today. I am going to be showing you how to make triangle squares in quilting. The supplies that you're going to need for today's project, you're going to need a ruler, or you can use the square cutting board. We'll need the cutting board. We're going to need a tool for marking our triangle squares and a pencil. And usually you use a rotary cutter, but I forgot mine today. So we're just going to use a scissor, or I'll just show you what needs to be done. Okay, with the rotary cutter it'd be a little easier, but you can do it with the scissors too. Okay, so what we're going to do is you'll decide what kind of fabrics you want to use. We're going to need like at least 2 pieces of fabric, and in this project I am doing a 5.5 inch square. So you're going to take 2 fabrics like this. You can take scraps and cut your squares if you want to get rid of some fabric that's laying around to make these triangle squares. You can use, this is a 5.5 inch, but you can go with any size that you want. You just have to make allowance for the seam allowance. So like this 5.5 inch square, when I'm done, it'll be cut down to a 5 inch square. Okay, so first of all we'll have, I'm going to move my tools here, and this is a sample of the square when it's done, this right in here. And this is a sample of one of the blocks that we can do with our triangle squares. Okay, so I'm going to take my mat here, and after we've cut our fabric, like I said, you can use any fabric you want, we are going to take 2 pieces and we're going to put the right sides together. Okay, and then when you have the right sides together, I have another piece here that I have the squares already done. I'm going to take my tool, and you see it's got a slit in the middle, and then we've got our 2 sides. So we're going to lay this down on our fabric, and we're going to align this little opening here on each end with these little points on each end here. Okay, so I'm going to lay this down, and we're going to need our pencil on this one. So once I have this aligned with the corner to corner, I'm going to take my pencil, and it's better with a lead pencil because this isn't real thick in the inside. And if you have it on a mat, it's easier to draw your pencil marks. Draw all the way from one end to the other. And then we're going to draw each side on each side here. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like. You're going to have a line down the middle and a line on each side. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take, I'll do this over again. I'm going to take this and I'm going to mark this one because I already have that one sewed, so I'll mark this real quick. And we'll mark on the side here. We'll take our pencil and mark it accordingly. Okay. Then we're going to take it over to the sewing machine, and we are going to sew down each side. We're going to leave that middle line. We're going to sew that down the side. Okay, and I got one side done. I'll turn it and I will sew the other side. Okay, once we have that done, and you'll see on this side with the white that you have a line going down here. and a line on this side. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cut it apart in the middle.
Pick your promo, sign up for high-speed internet, and get an iPad mini for only $60, plus get $60 in Valley Bucks. Or sign up for HD DVR from Valley Video and get $60 in Valley Bucks. Take advantage of these great promotions in honor of Valley being around for the last 60 years. Call 437-2615 today.
Valley Telecommunications, the home team advantage.
Okay, so what I'm going to do then is I'm going to cut down the middle of this piece. Okay, so then you'll have two pieces like this. And then what we're going to do with these two pieces, we'll take them over to the ironing board. But now when you're sewing this, if you have a whole bunch of these made out, then you can sew, and then you can just keep continually sewing one block after another, and then you can cut them all at one time. Okay, so then I'm going to iron these, and then this is what they're going to look like once you get them ironed. Okay, when we have them nice and flat, then we can start putting our blocks together. Once we have quite a few blocks made, I can lay this here and then lay it like this. And then when you have like this block, you would take it and flip it over and sew that to that. Sew this one to this one. And then when you have these pieces together here, you would sew this to this. And then when you get done, this will be your finished block. Okay? So now if you want to take those same 4 squares, we can still make another design. We can take and put that and put the squares with the whites on the outside and the fabrics on the inside. And then you can do that with this one here, do the same thing. And then when you're sewing them together, just flip them again, just like you did on the first one. You'll sew it, you'll make a strip, and you'll sew this one, make a strip, and then you can sew this row with this row. And then your ending product would be this one. So this is a square within a square. Okay. So then you can make another one. And if you just turn them around, and there again, you would take this block, this fabric, against with the white one, flip it over and sew, and take this one and flip it over and sew. Then you would have a row, and then you'd sew that row to that row. And then the ending product on that one would be this block, which is called the pinwheel. So you can just play with these blocks and you can make several designs. This is another example of the pinwheel block. And then this is just a smaller size with the same color. Okay. And you can, you can make this as just a block and use it for a wall hanging, or you can use this within another quilt, which that's what this one is going to be. This is another block within another quilt. Okay, so I've brought a few examples of different blocks that you can make with the triangles. This one here is just a different color variation. This one I actually used like a square and a triangle. So here's my triangle, square, and then this would be a square. So like with this block, this is a 5.5 inch, but when you cut it down, it's a 5-inch. So then I would need a 5-inch square for this one. So then you would just lay the square, your triangle, and your square. And then the opposite on this row, you would do your triangle, square, a square, and then your other block. And so you can make a square like this. So that's a whole nother design. Okay. This one here, I've used triangle squares and squares again. You can see my triangle squares here. And in the middle, I've used squares, but different colored blocks. So then that gives it a whole nother look. This one is called, the pattern is called Card Trick. And this one has your triangle squares in the corners. And then they have a little more detailed, this is a triangle within a triangle. So that's a whole nother block. We can do that another day. But so that's how you can use your triangles within another block design. This one here is actually a sample of that first one, but different color variation. The corners are the blocks with the triangles, and then your middles are the squares. Very simple block to make. And this is the same design as this one, just using different colors makes it look different. We've got our triangle squares in the corner and our squares around in the middle. So just depending on what fabrics you use, they look like totally different blocks. And then here's one more example. I've used the triangle squares on the edges and the blocks in the middle. And again, it's a whole nother look. So the key here is to just make your blocks, keep making as many as you want. You can make, you know, like this one has 2 colors. This one has multiple colors. Just depending on what you want it to look like. You can take this block and make multiple blocks and make like a table runner with it or a quilt top, depending on what you would like to do. Okay, and there's a few different names of the blocks. There's the pinwheel, that's this one here that I showed you. The square and the square. That's this one here. And this is called a quick triangle block.
Introducing our device installment program. Extra savings and extra flexibility. Call Valley today for all the details at 437-2615.
So those are just a few tips that we have for today. I hope you have enjoyed our show. If you have any questions or if you have any ideas that we can use for our program, or if you'd like to be a host, please call us at 437-2615. Thank you.